Yeah, I think I'm definitely probably going to go with the Founders.
The old Scotch ale.
The backwoods bastard. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Who's Drinking What. This is going to be a podcast about craft beer, enjoying beer, and probably other miscellaneous beer-related things. I'm Peter Hines. I'm joined by Brooks Scott.
Welcome, everybody.
All right. Well, we have a good show, and what we're going to do on this show is we're going to probably each week have about 2 beers per show. We're going to go over the beers. I've got a few other things planned for you. But starting out on this first one, we're going to try to choose. They usually have a lot of beers from one brewery. So sometimes we'll usually try to stick to one brewery and try a lot within that. This is taking place at the Tap beer bar in Bloomington. And they have a lot of different craft brews on tap. So today, they don't have anything where we can just stick with that brewery, but we're going to choose between Stone Brewery out of California. We're going to stick with Founders out of Michigan and Daredevil, a local brewery out of Shelbyville, Indiana. And we already got our first beers here. Brooks, what did you get?
I got myself a Daredevil Muse.
Very good. And what kind of beer is that?
It's a Golden Belgian Ale, I believe it was called. Let's see here. Yep, Belgian Golden Ale, 8.5% alcohol.
Well, it looks like Daredevil is a local brewery. It is out of Shelbyville, but they are right now looking to move up to Speedway, Indiana, which anyone listening not from Indiana is called Speedway because that is where the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is. So they're going to be breaking ground in 2015 where they can expand their operation. And I got the Founders Backwoods Bastard, which I'm familiar with their Dirty Bastard, I think is their typical Scottish ale, and this is a Scottish ale. This here looks like it's from a bourbon barrel form of the Dirty Bastard, so I'm looking forward to that. Founders is a Michigan-based company, and it looks like one of the interesting facts is that they started in 97.
Okay.
And I'm sure like any new business, they started out, and they sounds like they were making well-balanced beers, but they said it was unremarkable. Sounded like they were close to bankruptcy. Went with passion beers, and now they are one of the better Michigan brewers, which
Interesting.
A lot of them out of Michigan.
There is quite a few.
All right. I've kind of tortured us. We've been doing the setup to the show, and we have not had our first sip yet. So it's time for our inaugural sip. Cheers, Brooks.
Cheers.
Whew. Wow. What do you think?
Mine's very good. How about you?
It's very thick, and you
Yeah.
get that oaky taste right off the bat. That is a heavy beer.
I'm going to have to give that one a try in a little bit. I do like Scotch ales.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good. I like, and they're actually very easy for people who aren't big beer drinkers to kind of get into the craft scene.
Sure.
They're not really hopped at all. It's more malty
No, yeah.
flavor.
Daredevil Muse pretty powerful. Usually don't drink beers like this, but I think I could get used to it. It's pretty good.
I know. I like those Belgians where they're like in the double, the triple, and the quadruple style, which
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what that means yet. Anyone listening, if you want to post in the comments, let me know, or I'll educate myself later. But they are potent.
Yeah, they're usually pretty strong. Only a couple will do.
Totally. Actually, one of the guys that you work with, Andrew, we went here one time, and not only does the tap have a great selection of beers on tap, but they have a wide selection of bottles.
Sure.
And I saw him, I think it was a quadruple, got it in like a 22-ounce bottle, and that dude destroyed it in like 12 minutes.
Oh, no.
Which I think that had the alcohol content of like wine.
Sure. Sounds like a recipe for disaster right off the bat.
But I mean, if you love it, it's not for everyone.
No, it's definitely not.
Now, speaking of doing some serious drinking, Brooks, you were at a bachelor party recently, right?
I was indeed. It was 2 weekends ago, actually, down in good old Brownstown, Indiana.
Is that your hometown?
I'm actually from Seymour, Indiana. It's a little town about 5-10 minutes away from Seymour, though.
A bunch of friends from back home.
Yeah, a bunch of friends from home were there. It was a pretty messy event.
Was this, now, did you guys go somewhere, or was this like
No, it wasn't really like your typical bachelor party, go to a strip club, all that kind of stuff. It was just more of we were out in the country and had a little bit of a beer Olympics thing, and everybody did their best to drink as many beers as they possibly could all day.
Where did you place? Did you get on the podium?
I actually won it.
No.
Yeah, me and 2 other guys.
How many people were there?
There was 21 or 22.
Jeez.
Good amount, about 4 or 5 dads there also. So any event with dads at it's usually pretty entertaining.
Oh yeah, that's the best thing is because when you're a kid, dads are kind of embarrassing, but
Sure.
then you grow up and realize like they used to do this themselves.
They know what's going on. It's not their first rodeo.
Was your dad there?
He was not, unfortunately.
That sounds great. What was your favorite? Was there like one superstar event? Did you have like a beer slip and slide? Was there a beer pong tournament?
We didn't have a slip and slide, unfortunately. It was a little chilly out, but as far as favorite event, I don't know. I got to give it to the Dizzy Bat. It's usually a fan favorite. Anyone that ever does it, basically fill your wiffle ball bat full of beer and chug it, and however long it takes you to drink it, you got to spin around that many times and try to hit the empty can if someone pitches it to you.
Did you guys modify the hole at all, or was it like the legit tiny?
Oh no, you just cut the end of the bat off, so it flows pretty good. It was a fun day. It kind of took me back to my college days a little bit.
That sounds great. Yeah. The best thing about those, though, it doesn't matter how good you are at beer games. Even if you've been the champ dominating it for years, when it's time to step away, they're never going to treat you like Derek Jeter.
Unfortunately, they do not. I hadn't lost a step though. I was pretty proud of myself. Like riding a bike.
A very drunk bike.
If I have very drunk, maybe a unicycle. I don't know.
So I'm looking up your Daredevil muse here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love too about the tap is they're masterful about, they're very strict on glassware. You're gonna get the proper glassware.
Right.
We both chose, brews that are in the goblet.
Mm-hmm.
But yours is an 8.5 alcohol. Yeah, usually when you get those higher alcohols, it's a lot thicker. Like,
Right.
you guys are watching the YouTube feed, you'll see the pictures of them. But like the Scottish ale, I mean, you couldn't see the sun.
Nice and dark. Yeah.
Yours,
It's very transparent, surprisingly.
I think Miller Lite might be heavier looking.
I'll give you that. It's definitely throw me for a loop, but it is quite potent.
Now, is it really fruity, or do you get like a honey taste to it?
Not so much fruity, a little more honey, I'd say. Yeah. Not too much fruit to it. Just definitely takes you back for a second when you take a drink of it.
Is it a real smooth aftertaste?
Yeah, it is. Definitely smooth finish.
That's another thing that I love about exploring the craft beer repertoires.
Mm-hmm.
Is how sometimes you can get these beers that have very high alcohol contents, but how well made they are and how smooth they are.
You'd never know it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you never get that bite or that
Mm-hmm.
kick. Although sometimes you will get those, and I'm sure some brewers make that intentional. Cause
Oh yeah, definitely.
totally an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at mine, this is a 10.2%. The back.
Really?
And I mean, I said earlier you really get the bourbon barrel taste out of it, but I mean it is. There's the Scotch ale taste to it, which is kind of like a real malty caramel, like kind of like if beer tasted like Coke a little bit. But then it's also got that whiskey, bourbon-y
Oh, yeah.
taste to it, and it's a fantastic mix.
Yeah, I'm a fan of all the different kinds of bourbon barrel beers.
Yeah, you really get the like sweet, smoky barrel taste up front, and then like the smooth, malty finish. Oh man, I love that. Okay, well, we're gonna take a break, and then we're going to get into our first segment, where I'm gonna put Brooks to the test.
Got a little competition for me.
Yeah, totally. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back. I just bumped the table, almost spilling all of our beers. All right. Now, Brooks, I've come to the tap with you a few times.
Yes.
I know that you're a man that knows your beers.
I like to think so.
I'm going to put you to the test here.
All right.
I've gotten 3 different samples. They're all different, fairly, like specific to their class beers.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see if, just from the sample, you can tell me what kind of beer it is.
Okay.
And then there'll be a second part to this.
Okay.
I have picked them where there's 3 of this type of beer on tap, and then I'm going to give you the descriptions of them, and I was wondering if you could pick out which specific beer it is from those descriptions.
Ooh.
So I have a lot of faith in you and being able to tell me what kind of beer this is.
Okay.
I think you can do this.
Okay.
And where I really want to test your tongue and the descriptions of the fine people here at the tap
Yes.
of the beer, how well you can do there. So he's going to take a sip of number 1.
Alrighty.
And he smelled it. That's very smart, actually, because sometimes that'll give it away.
It's a little spicy.
Yeah.
All right. Guess we'll keep going down the row here.
Do you have a guess as to what kind that is?
Are they all the same type or no?
No, they're very different types.
Give me one more try here.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to say it's cheating. You can look at the menu here and even try looking and see if you can't pick up what kind it is. This one is
Mind you, there are over 50 kinds of beers on tap here.
Oh, totally. And this one's a little bit of a wild card because
You know what? Just from looking at the list, I'm going to guess Triton gingerbread.
That's an interesting choice, but no, I actually went with stuff that's a little more generic, so it's not going to be that.
Okay. It tasted pretty spicy.
It is actually a pumpkin ale.
Is it? It's also the first one I looked at, but...
No, totally. It's a pumpkin ale.
Oof.
Now, of the pumpkin ales, I'll give you the 3 possible that it could be. All right, Brooks. It could be the Flat 12 Flat Jack.
Okay.
Or the Shipyard Pumpkinhead. I can't talk. Or the Tyriana Painted Ladies.
Painted Ladies, huh?
Yeah. Now I'm going to let Brooks review those 3. The Flat 12 Flat something. I already forgot what it was called.
Flat Jack.
Flat Jack.
Yeah.
Which is actually great because, it's a take on Halloween. There's a lot of Jack the Rippers, Jack-o'-lantern. Probably more of the Jack-o'-lantern. It's got to be it.
Yeah, that's probably...
The Shipyard or the Tyriana, which I'm not familiar where Shipyard is, but Tyriana is a brewery out of Wisconsin. I've had a few interesting things from them in the
says
past.
Shipyards in Maine. Maine brewery.
That is very appropriate.
Oh, man. This is going to be purely a guess. I'm going to go with the Painted Ladies. Just because I like the name.
That's a fantastic guess. Unfortunately, it's not correct.
Well, damn.
Just had there was the Shipyard Pumpkin.
Okay.
It says that the Pumpkinhead Ale is a crisp and refreshing wheat ale with delightful aromatics and subtle spiced flavors. So, it's maybe one of the weaker. It's not primarily pumpkin. They have the more wheat base, but probably.
I could see that now. Not the biggest fan of pumpkin beers, but it was all right.
Well, he's on to number 2.
Moving on.
And this one, I think, is probably going to be a little easier for you to guess the class of beer that it is. because I feel like it's going to be fairly unique as I sip my own.
It's an IPA.
Yes, it is. Now, in fact, you might be noticing that it's maybe a little heavier. It's an Imperial
IPA, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Brooks, they were all on the first page here.
Okay.
This is either Dogfish Head 90 Minute.
Mm-hmm.
The Lagunitas Maximus. Or the Daredevil Ripcord.
Or the Daredevil.
And I'll let you review those and see if you can figure it out. Again, it was an Imperial IPA.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of it, by the way, while you're looking at it?
I liked it. Very strong.
All right. Yeah, I really actually enjoy IPAs. I know some people don't. Heavy hops can turn some people off.
Sure. I'm a big fan, however.
All right. Get your tongue dancing.
Let's see here. I don't think it was the Ripcord.
All right. That is correct, actually. So
I've had Ripcord before and
definitely not the Ripcord.
did not think so. All right, so we're down to 2 of them here.
Dogfish Head 90 Minute.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lagunitas Maximus. And I want to apologize to this brewery if anyone listens. I know it's our first episode, so we haven't built up a following, which could be to my benefit.
Sure.
I may be saying the name wrong, and I really apologize.
I think it's Lagunitas is how you say it.
Lagunitas.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Fucking why you're on this show.
All right, you know. I think that's going to be my guess. The Maximus, Lagunitas Maximus.
You're fit 500 right now. You fucking nailed it.
All right, there we go.
All right. Not only did he know the name, but he knew the taste. All right.
One final one here.
Now this one too is a pretty standard breed. Taking the sniff. Actually, maybe in future shows I may be able to first see if you can guess from the sniff before the taste.
Ooh, yeah. You know, I'm not sure. That one tastes like an IPA because the last one was an IPA, but it's definitely very light. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
I probably should get you a palate cleanser next time, like little
maybe so. Maybe, is it a wheat beer? Or
It is a wheat beer.
Right.
Oh, God.
I couldn't really taste it, so I figured it was something really, really light.
Following an IPA, this guy is able to pick up that it was a wheat beer. All right. So, your possibilities that what this is Evil Czech Gypsy,
Okay.
the Sea Dog Blue Paw, and Three Floyd's Gumball Head.
Okay. I think I'm going to eliminate. We'll do what I did last time.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try to eliminate the gumball head.
You're going to eliminate the Gumball Head.
Is that what it was?
What do you think it is?
Oh,
We're going to eliminate Gumball Head, so he's got one off the board. So it's between Sea Dog Blue Paw and the Gypsy.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to guess the gypsy.
Brooks, you eliminated what it was right off the bat. It was Munster's own
Three
Gumball
Floyds.
Head. Three Floyds. Fantastic brewery.
Fair enough. You know,
So-
I didn't really get a fair shake on that one, to be
You're
completely
right.
honest.
And this is completely learning for both of us, I'll say. I should probably have given you the heaviest one last.
Yeah, it might have been a little better.
And in retrospect, I'll think this out better next time. I should apologize. I came in, we set up, and then I just picked them off the menu right here. And why I'm saying this is the mistake was that pumpkin ale I picked for you was partly a wheat beer. So even if I had put the wheat and the pumpkin back to back, they probably wouldn't have been totally distinctly different.
Yeah, we might have to try this again next week.
It's all right. Oh, I want this to be a recurring segment on the
Okay.
show. So I hope you're bringing your A game. What's great about this place, again, is they rotate stuff. When one keg's gone, they bring something completely
Yep.
new in.
You never know what's going to be on tap when
Yeah.
you walk in.
Plenty of opportunities. One other segment I want to try with you And this is, if we ever do get to the point where we're going to get guests, I think this will be more for the guests, because once we do this,
Sure.
we're theoretically going to be here the whole time, so it's no point in doing this over. But what was the beer that you remember having that really gave you your taste for craft beer, where you said, I really enjoy the taste of this more than just the pure function of chug this, get drunk, party animal?
Although I do still appreciate that side of drinking.
I'm not saying that's wrong.
I'd say how it started for me. Even when I was first 21, I didn't really drink much craft beer. I didn't really get turned on to it until I was probably about 23, which I'm 26 now. But probably Bell's Two Hearted was the first one that I really started drinking a lot, and still to this day, I love a good Two Hearted Ale.
That was one I didn't have till much later, but damn, that is a fine beer.
It is.
It's a really good balanced IPA too, because it's not overly hoppy. That's going to punch you in the mouth up front.
Yeah, I always had a friend that was drinking it, and one day I finally said, "Let's see what this is about." So that's kind of where I got my start. I'd have to say.
Drink the trout beer.
Yeah.
Mine is Dogfish Head Ale 90 Minute.
Really?
Yes, and this goes back to my college days.
I haven't had the opportunity to drink much Dogfish Head ever since I've been of age to drink. It hasn't been in Indiana, unfortunately.
I have a few years on Brooks, and so I honestly don't know the history of Dogfish Head Ale, or Dogfish Head Brewery. Man, I'm sorry to the good people in Delaware at Dogfish Head. But, it was here in Indiana when I was able to start going to bars. And then I think it just got so popular that production constraints, they had to cut back and really focus on certain markets. Unfortunately, Indiana, I can understand outside of Indianapolis is sparsely populated. But my story takes place in Muncie. I went to Ball State. And they had this bar there called the Herat. Now, the Herat is a Beowulf-themed bar.
Okay. I've been up to Muncie a few times to party. I don't know if I've ever been there.
It's maybe one of the only places in Muncie to see.
Okay.
To be fair, I enjoyed Ball State. The campus is nice. There's a few things around campus, but Muncie itself is sadly a factory town that lost all its factories.
Not a lot going on.
No, unfortunately not. There are a lot of good people up there.
Sure.
But the Herat is an experience. And it was the first bar where I'd seen they had more than one craft beer on tap. They had a great run. I don't think they had as many as they do here, but maybe 20 to 30. And me and my roommate went in, and we had done it a few times, but just order something random. Because we were pretty inexperienced. Everything on tap is just something new. And there wasn't as many brewery choices. Bell's was around. It was one of the older ones. But they would have a lot of stuff from England, too. And I ordered a Strongbow.
Okay.
Which I didn't know what it was. And I got it. And my roommate, ordered the Dogfish Head Ale. I get my Strongbow, not realizing it's a cider.
Right.
I immediately hated it. Because I was expecting something different, honestly.
Yeah, sure.
And Jake, being the gentleman that he was, offered to trade me. And I think he enjoyed the Strongbow. I don't quite remember. Not too important. But he had ordered Dogfish Head Ale. And I'm not sure why. I think it was an arbitrary choice for him. And it was the 90 Minute. And that first sip was like caramel.
It was.
Not the literal taste of caramel, but just how it just sat on my tongue. The body, it's thick without being heavy. And it was just the best beer I'd ever had.
Perfect.
Oh, man, yeah. And that was when I was like, you know what? I could do this more. I need to do this.
I could do this more often.
I'm not trying to put down your domestics, because you're right. There's a time and place for them.
There is a time and a place.
When I don't want to just get trashed out of my fucking gourd, that's what made me consider these. Now that overly long prose is over.
Yes.
There was one other segment I wanted to introduce, and it was This Day in Beer History. and I think we went over it before the show. I wrote it down, came up with it, and don't have it, and I'm going to pass on it. I know it's probably a bit of a tease and not very professional to tell you guys what I want to do, but not have anything.
Might just have to wait till next week.
We're gonna wait till next week. This is a learning show, and I don't think there's honestly, if anyone listens to this show, Brooks, I think it's gonna be if we get the formula down, we get better at this, and they're gonna go back and try to explore some older shows.
Yeah.
Anyone who listens to this first episode before episode 2 is out, I fucking love you guys. But I probably already do, because you're all our friends.
Although you may not exist, but...
All right, we're going to take another break because we're going to go get our second round.
Yes, we are.
Brooks, I see you've gotten through yours. Mine is starting to get a little clearer at the bottom of the glass. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and we have our second round. We're going to do 2 rounds of show. And, again, we're sticking between Daredevil Brewery here in Indiana, Stone out in California, and Founders up in Michigan. Brooks, what did you choose?
This time around, I got the Founders Dark Penance. It's an Imperial Black IPA, and it is very black.
And I really like that name, too, because it kind of looks like if you drink that, you might have to do some penance with your wife after what you're going to do tonight.
I might have to. I don't know.
And again, you got that from the Founders Brewery.
Yes.
97 was their start up in Michigan. And, yeah, very enjoyable. I love my backwoods bastard again.
Oh, yeah.
My first. I got the Stone Arrogant Double Bastard, as if one wasn't enough. And I kind of looked into this company. It's out from San Marcos, California. They started in 96, but their flagship beer is the Arrogant Bastard, which everyone knows around, and it has some of the best packaging I've ever seen.
Very tasty.
That debuted November 1st, 1997. So
didn't know it'd been around that long.
Yeah, these again one of the founders of the craft beer movement. So a lot of those late 90s peoples really started moving it, and we have the deliciousness on tap thanks today.
Yes, indeed. Real quick before we try these, just want to read the description of mine. It says Midnight Black IPA with huge bitterness, balanced by malt sweetness and alcohol burn. That is how it is described, and I am not sure if I'm looking forward to it anymore.
You're a brave soul, man. Not a soul man because you don't do Motown, but just a brave soul.
Maybe I do.
I'm a man. All right, Brooks. Wow, that is invigorating.
Woo! Oh, man.
Your face is priceless on that. It looks like it had a wide array, like levels of
There was a lot of things happening there. It's classified as an Imperial Black IPA, which I definitely taste at the end, but to start things off, it kind of tastes like a stout almost, and then got a little hoppy towards the end there.
To get that black, I mean, I guess. Yeah. and that's one thing I don't know the brewing process, but whatever they did for stouts to make it that dark, they started there, and
it's definitely involved in this beer.
Man, this, and I really love double IPAs. And one of the reasons people, who aren't IPA fans, and I'm sure you've heard it, they're very staunchly against IPAs.
They are.
Like, it's a very dividing beer. You either for it or against it. But they don't like the bitterness and the hoppiness.
Right.
But I like, that needs to be in there.
Completely agree.
I like picking up the sweeter notes in it, the other minor accentuations in the taste. But I feel like doubles actually bring that, it's even stronger. You can tell that easier. I feel like the bitterness isn't as present. I'm not sure why, but it's delicious.
That's all that needs to be said.
And it's Actually, a lot of IPAs have that very. Did it get you?
Little bit.
You know, a lot of IPAs have that real like golden ambery color.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm a looks man. I judge beer by their color.
Fair enough.
This beer, well, not as black as yours. Yours is legitimately black.
Yeah, mine's black as night over here.
This is like almost a plum brown.
It is.
I've never seen
A little darker than an amber. I mean, it's not an amber, but it's darker than amber, definitely. But it almost has that amberish tint to it.
And actually, the initial part of the taste when it first hits your tongue, there's not a lot in there. It ramps up nicely and gives you that like nice full IPA. Where I really feel like, yeah, I do get some sweetness out of it. I love that.
Yeah, I'm liking this one more and more as I drink it.
Yeah,
it's a hefty 9% alcohol, so it's another one that'll get you if you're not careful.
So if we add it up, Brooks, you've had my math sucks. 17.5%.
There we go.
Between the two. Let's take a look, see what mine is.
You might have me. That first one of yours is like 10.2.
Yeah, that first one.
I don't know about this one.
So the double bass is 11.2.
Well then,
I'm 21.4. So
we got something going on over here, definitely.
That's amazing. Yeah, the description for the Stone Double Bastard. This is interesting. The evil big brother of arrogant bastard ale. It delivers a huge malt bill, which I do get. I really appreciate that. And belligerent hoppiness make this heavy ale one that will be appreciated by only a few.
Are you one of those few?
I'm in the ranks. I'm there. If this guy had a party, I'd be there.
I would be in attendance.
I wouldn't even be fashionably late because I'm enjoying this so much.
It's a party you don't want to be late to. I'd be there at 6:30.
I actually did that a couple weeks ago. I went to a Halloween party. And we're in Bloomington, Indiana, where if you're not familiar with the geography of Indiana, Bloomington is in the mid-southern part of the state. Mm-hmm. Indianapolis is smack dab in the middle. Well, I had some friends having a Halloween party in the middle. And I was going to have to go up during the end of rush hour. So I left a little early.
Which is something you just don't want to do, really.
No, yeah. It usually adds 30, 45 minutes on.
Terrible.
And I believe it was a Friday.
So even worse.
Should have been. Wasn't this time. Luckily.
Really?
Very lucky. But I padded it into my drive so that, start at 7:30. I legitimately don't want to be the first person there just because, sometimes...
Who wants to be that guy?
Exactly. I literally... And I even had to turn around because I passed the place, got out of the car, and it just turned 7:30.
Perfect.
I went in and they were still setting up the drinks and everything. It was like, I am that guy.
Well, at that point, you got to volunteer your services and help them set up the drinks.
I did, and test some of the food and make sure that was...
Well, yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it.
I'm a fucking eater. So, I still actually am enjoying watching you taking a sip from that each time because your face is running so many different ranges of emotion.
I'll tell you, it's not getting any weaker. Definitely coming back full force every time.
All right. Well, I've enjoyed 2 delicious beers here today. And Brooks, I hope you did too.
Indeed I have.
You got very opposite ends of them, but
yes.
And that's what I hope everybody gets from this show. I love craft beer. I know you do. And I hope our listeners do too. It's just a celebration of it. So I hope you keep listening to Who's Drinking What. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Drink on.
Sitting on my bed in my red pajamas, watching Michigan State take on Indiana. And honey, thought you'd like to know, I don't mean to be apologizing, and I hate wasting time philosophizing, 'cause baby, I'm a little bit slow. I know a lot of people catch on to things quicker, and maybe I spend too much time with my liquor, and I stand still while the others go. And I never get jokes until hours later, and then I crack up in a crowded elevator, 'cause baby,